To say that 2023 was an incredible year for games is an understatement. I don't think we've had this many wins in the industry since 2017, aka 6 years ago. Now, let's take a look at this video I posted in January of 2023. 2022 not only was a big year for games, this guy is a liar. We only got like 3 games last year that were memorable. We got God of War Ragnarok, Elden Ring, and then Xenoblade Chronicles 3 for some people. But you have to remember, no one likes Xenoblade. This year was just win after win after win after... No, not you. After win after win after win that it really makes you feel proud to be a gamer. Before I go into this video, let me just lay some ground rules. There are some games this year that I played that did not come out this year. They came out years beforehand, but I wanted to play them. And there are also games that came out this year that I just did not get around to playing because of time management. I only have limited amount of time, but I wanted to make sure I got through as many as I possibly could. Let me just spit through some of the major releases that I wasn't able to get to this year. The Resident Evil 4 remake, which looks really good, I'll be honest. Pikmin 4, which I actually do have, and I really want to play this game, but I want to play the other 3 first because I want to make sure I give them the proper attention they deserve. On the contrary, though, Fire Emblem Engage, which, in all honesty, I have no motivation to play this game. Alan Wake 2. I haven't played Alan Wake 1, but after that performance at the Game Awards, I really want to play it. Sea of Stars, Dave the Diver, Lies of P, which actually does look really cool, Jedi Survivor, Starfield, and the Dead Space remake, which I actually do own, just haven't gotten around to it for time management reasons. If I could do this full time, I definitely would, and I'd probably be able to get around to every major release that came out this year. But unfortunately, my time is limited, and I have to manage and make sacrifices as to which games to play when they come out this year. But I can do this full time, and you can help with that if you... Alright, I'm sorry. Shilling aside, allow me to give some mentions to games that aren't on this list, but I did play this year. Miles Morales did a great job of capturing the feeling of being Spider-Man, but good lord, the main villain of that game is just awful. I despise them. Street Fighter 6 looks amazing, but after playing it, I kind of realized, yeah, I'm more of a Tekken guy. I don't know how Xenoblade manages to sneak its way into every goddamn video I post, but the Future Redeemed DLC was actually pretty good. Although it did lack a lot of the flexibility that's in the main game, which, makes sense because it's only DLC. One Piece Odyssey was probably the most disappointing game for me this year. The game looks great, they do a fantastic job sticking to the source material, but good lord, this has to be the slowest game I've ever played. Even on 3x speed up, this game is just a grind fest, which, for One Piece, that's actually pretty on brand. This game appeals to a very niche category, and if you're not part of both of them, then you're not going to have a top-notch experience. If you like Dragon Quest, you'll think this game is okay. If you like One Piece, you're also going to think this game is okay. But if you like both, then you're going to have a good time with this game. Unfortunately, though, I only fall into one of those categories. And, of course, Armored Core 6. Do I think this is a bad game? Absolutely not. Is this the game for me? No. Now, don't get me wrong, controlling the mechs are really fun, and the movement has a really interesting weight to it. But I just don't love the whole, there's only one specific build to beat this level system that they got going on. It just doesn't jive with me. It's also probably a skill issue. I played a lot of stuff this year, and I'm going to give an honorable mention to one game in particular, and the reason this game is not on my list is primarily because I just didn't finish it, but it's really good. Baldur's Gate 3. I know. Before you boo me in the comments, let me just explain myself. I'm playing through the game right now, and it's phenomenal, and I love it, and I'm just really addicted to it, and it totally deserves all the praise it gets. But who gets to play this game? Like, it is 130 gigabytes. I had to install a separate hard drive just so I could play this game. If you don't have the right specs for your computer or a PS5, this will take up to, at the very most, 20% of your storage. But it's really good. Even as I was editing this video, I just kept thinking to myself, I could be playing Baldur's Gate 3, but I have to edit this stupid video. Anyway, with that exposition out of the way, let's do this.
Metroid Prime Remastered. This may seem weird considering I didn't give the game the highest score when I reviewed it, but I did really like it. The atmosphere of the game is really well done and everything just looks super good. And with the release of Super Mario RPG, my statement still stands. Nintendo knows how to do visual remasters. The combat was a little slow and the exploration was pretty tedious, but overall I quite enjoyed it. I just hope that in Metroid Prime 4 they help direct the player towards the intended location in a more obvious manner than they did in this. Because, you know, doing laps around Talon 4 is only fun for so long. Oh, looks like we got another Metroid game. Metroid Dread. Wait, what do you mean that's not it? Wait, what? Oh, Dredge. My bad. My friends and I have a rule that if a game has a fishing minigame, then it's a good video game. But this whole game is about fishing, so you know it's gonna be good. Dredge is a game that embodies the statement of sneaking up on you. Every time you think you've seen every surprise that the game has thrown at you, it throws a new one at you out of nowhere. You know, you might stumble on an abandoned coastal village, you're exploring and then doing some digging, and oh my god, is that Cthulhu? Also, this game has a really cool plot twist that people don't talk about enough. Overall, Dredge lulls you into a false sense of security to make those moments of surprise hit that much harder. My gym trainer actually recommended this game to me, so if you're watching this, Brian, thanks for the recommendation. Whenever it comes to games to review/play, I'm always conflicted between games that I should play versus games that I want to play. Doom Eternal is a game I've wanted to play since it came out in 2020, and now I'm telling you that you should play it. This is the fastest paced game I've ever played, and it was non-stop balls to the walls carnage. Blood spewing everywhere, headshots going berserk. Combine that all with the different weapons you have in your arsenal, with exception to the chainsaw, and you have a masterpiece in your hands. Never in your life will you find so much tranquility and satisfaction after having ripped apart thousands of alien demons. True bliss. With absolutely no pun intended, Hi-Fi Rush is an absolute jam. This game just oozes with charm. You see how colorful this game is? You know you're gonna have a good time with it. The music is bumpin', the combat really lets you be creative with how you pummel your enemies, and the dialogue is just flat out hilarious. It feels like me and my buddies wrote the dialogue in a Discord call at 1 a.m., and I love it. Also, an unrelated fact, I actually got to meet Chai's voice actor, Robbie Daymond, and let me just say he's probably one of the nicest people I've ever met. Anyway, this game is also really important in showing that a game's quality will speak much louder than the advertising that you can put into it. Word of mouth is much more influential and personable than ads. We've actually seen this in Hi-Fi Rush and another game that came out this year, because Lethal Company has more installs and downloads than Modern Warfare 3. Super Mario Wonder,
way,
that's
crazy.
Talking
It's
about
so
it's
good.
Super
I
Mario
love
Wonder. We got Wonder over here. Super Mario Wonder, Mario Wonder.
Such a weird
Love
game.
it. Super Mario Wonder. If you couldn't tell, this is a donkey reference. I've never been a huge fan of the 2D Marios. They've always felt just kind of soulless in my opinion. I've always been more of a fan of the 3D ones because they have some type of identity that makes them stand out. Sure, there are power-ups in the 2D Mario games that are specific to that game, but that's it really. The 3D Marios always have a distinct feeling to them, you know, jumping through the paintings, vacation resort, journeying around the world, and traveling to new galaxies. Super Mario Wonder feels like it has that gimmick that the 2D Marios were missing. This game is weird. Mario turns into an elephant, he turns into a blob, he turns into a platform in a platformer, but that didn't stop me from having the doofiest grin on my face playing this game. Except that last level. That level. Mario Wonder can sit next to Celeste, Shovel Knight, and another game, which I'll mention in a minute, as my favorite 2D platformers. Because look, when the second level of the game, the piranha plants start singing, that's when you know you're gonna have a wonderful experience. Okay, let me run a situation for you real quick. Would you rather pay $80 to play Pokemon Scarlet and Violet with the DLC, or would you rather pay $30 for Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance?
Here's a hint. Pick this one.
How I feel about Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance is the same as how I feel about Chainsaw Man. I have no idea what's going on half the time. It's really crazy, and a lot of stuff just flat out doesn't make sense to me. But good lord, is it cool. Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance is as weird as it is awesome. Instead of pulling back when it gets too weird, it doubles down on that weirdness and makes you accept, okay, well, I guess this is a thing now, and I'm here for it. You're fighting a woman with 8 arms, a Brazilian samurai, the senator of Colorado who took too many iron supplements, Buggy the Clown shows up, you even fight Pochita. The reason this is so high on my list is because it's that good, and there was a time when I would not stop talking about this game. Although it is a shame that it wasn't nominated for Game of the Year. I mean, I know the game is 10 years old, but I feel like they could have made an exception.
The memes.
I can't tell if the artist of this game was on crack and the programmer was on like 5 bottles of Adderall, or if it was the other way around. Regardless, they made a pretty good game out of it. Pizza Tower is a game I did not think I would enjoy as much as I did. The game has so much personality to it, but at the same time has some of the tightest platforming mechanics I've ever seen in a 2D platformer. There is something so satisfying about playing this game, from just rushing full force into an enemy all the way to getting that elusive P-rank. Torta Pizza, you guys really cooked up something stellar here, and I can't wait to see what you guys are doing next. Also, just in general, I gotta play more indie games. Godspeed, Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man PS4 was the whole reason I got a PS4, so I was really stoked when Spider-Man 2 got announced. Although, this may be because of my reviewer brain analyzing everything, but Spider-Man 2 felt pretty buggy a lot of the time. I'm not sure if this is just me though, because a lot of my friends say they barely ran into any glitches. But I ran into a lot of glitches on my playthrough. I hovered on the sand one time, I fell through New York City and landed in the back rooms, I even cosplayed as Satoru Gojo and turned into a cube. But at the end of the day, you're playing as Spider-Man, and that's awesome. You're gliding all over New York City, beating up bad guys with the symbiote suit as Peter, electrocuting everyone as Miles. The game was executed very well. I'll probably do a full review of this game, but for the Cliff Notes version, the game is fantastic, and the story does a really good job not prioritizing one Spider-Man over the other. Spider-Man 2 really makes the player feel the exaggerated swagger of a black symbiote. It really, really sucks just how much hate this game gets because it does not deserve it. People are out here saying, oh, it's not a Final Fantasy game. Shut up, man. Final Fantasy 16 is incredible. The combat is super fun, the music is downright euphoric, and the story is beautifully written. Not to mention that it has one of the best love stories in a video game. Sure, the side quests are a little underwhelming compared to the big bad boss fights, but when the game is at its peak, you are going to sit there with your jaw on the floor thinking, what did I just experience? And also, I'm just gonna say it, I think this is my new favorite Final Fantasy game. I mean, I've only played 2 of them, but I still think it's a pretty bold statement. Not to mention that Clive's voice actor is downright hilarious. Listen, okay, there was no contest. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is not only my favorite game of 2023, but has single-handedly become my favorite game of all time. It really does boil down to, this is your favorite game but better. I love the story, I love the characters, the atmosphere, the exploration, the music, I love everything about it. I'm trying to 100% this game, and every time I pick it up, 1 hour ends up becoming 5 hours. That's how much charm it has, even after beating the main story. Please go watch my review of this game for a full, in-depth analysis as to why I love this game and why it means so much to me. I really do truly love this game. And with that, we can officially close the book on 2023. But what is there on the horizon? My most hyped games for next year are Tekken 8, again, Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door Remastered, Persona 3 Reloaded, and of course, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. 2024, let's do this.